we want to do the gentle techniques.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Do you know if there's anything that you wanted to work on, or what's going on for you in your body right now?
Well, I think there's a bit of a theme of not listening to like we were talking about disassociating from the body, and I know something happened when I was a child where I disassociated.
Okay.
And then
Do
I
you know
think
how old?
would have been about 4, maybe.
Okay.
And then it seems to be a theme throughout my life where I didn't recognise it.
So how do you know you dissociated when you were 4?
I think I just realised, well, it was a survival mechanism to stop feeling.
Okay, and do you know what event occurred to stop feeling?
Yeah.
You do, okay. So if you imagine that 4-year-old in the other room who stopped feeling for a reason because of an event, where are you feeling that in your body? Throat. Okay, even though I've got this feeling in my throat.
Even though I've got this feeling in my throat.
When I think of that 4-year-old.
When I think of that 4-year-old.
She dissociated from her body for a reason.
She dissociated from her body for a reason.
And I can feel that in my throat.
And I can feel that in my throat.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
And all these feelings.
And all these feelings.
And I want to release them.
And I want to release them.
I want to get to the origin.
I want to get to the origin.
Gently.
Gently.
So I can process it and release
so
it.
that I can process it and release it.
It's been a theme through my life.
It's been a theme through my life.
Since that 4-year-old experience.
Since that 4-year-old experience.
And when I imagine that 4-year-old in the other room.
And when I imagine that 4-year-old in the other room.
And the event that occurred for her to dissociate.
And the event that occurred for her to dissociate.
I can feel that in my throat.
I can feel that in my throat.
And I want to process it and release it.
And I want to process it and release it.
All the way back to that 4-year-old in the other room.
All the way back to that 4-year-old in the other room.
Who's going through that event.
Who's going through that event.
She needed to dissociate from her body.
She had to dissociate from her body.
Because of that event.
Because of that event.
And I can still feel it in my throat.
And I can still feel it in my throat.
And I want to dissolve it.
And
What's going on?
It's not in my throat.
Where is it now?
It feels like it's in the back of the shoulders there something.
Yep. This tightness in the back of my shoulders.
There's tightness in the back of my shoulders.
It's all shifted.
It's all shifted.
When I tune into that little girl in the back. The other room.
To the little girl in the other room.
Even though I've got tightness in my shoulders.
I've got tightness in my shoulders.
When I tune into that little girl.
When I tune into that little girl.
My 4-year-old self.
My 4-year-old self.
In the other room.
In the other room.
All that tightness in my back.
All that tightness in my back.
I want to process it and release it.
I want to process it and release it.
All the way back to her.
All the way back to her.
I want her to feel safe.
I want her to feel safe.
So she can process and release.
So she can process it and release it.
That tightness.
That tightness.
In the back of my shoulders.
Yep, it's moved up to the neck.
The tightness in my neck. Just on the left side. Tightness in my neck.
The tightness in my neck.
Going into my shoulders.
Going into my shoulders.
Tightness in my neck.
Tightness in my neck.
When I tune into that 4-year-old.
When I tune into that 4-year-old.
In the other room.
In the other room.
Dissociating from her body.
Dissociating from her body.
Because of that event.
Because of that event.
All the tightness in my shoulders and neck.
All the tightness in my shoulders and neck.
Processing and releasing it.
Processing and releasing it.
It doesn't serve me to hang on to it.
It doesn't serve me to hang on to it.
And I want to release it.
And I want to release it.
I thank my body for protecting me.
I thank my body for protecting me.
Whatever it's protecting me from.
Whatever it's protecting me from.
But maybe it's safe to release it now.
Maybe it's safe to release it now.
All the way back to that 4-year-old.
All the way back to that 4-year-old.
I want her to feel safe.
I want her to feel safe.
What's coming up for you now?
When you're talking about it being safe to release it now, I don't think that
It's not safe.
I believe that.
Yeah. Even though I don't think it's safe to release that.
I don't think it's safe to release that.
It's there for a reason.
It's there for a reason.
It's protecting me.
It's protecting me.
It's protected me ever since I was 4.
It's protected me ever since I was 4.
And it doesn't feel safe to release it.
It doesn't feel safe to release it.
I don't feel safe.
I don't feel safe.
That 4-year-old doesn't feel safe.
That 4-year-old doesn't feel safe.
I accept myself and all my reactions.
I accept myself and all my reactions.
And And I want to feel safe enough to release it.
And I want to feel safe enough to release it.
But I don't know if I am.
But I don't know if I am.
I accept my questions.
I accept my questions.
I want to feel safe.
And I want to feel safe.
I do want to feel safe.
I do want to feel safe.
But I don't know if I'm safe enough to release that protection.
But I don't know if I'm safe enough to release that protection.
That feeling in my neck.
That feeling in my neck.
What's going on?
I think I'm okay with what happened when I was 4, but the reason that I still don't want to be connected with my body is because of chronic fatigue.
Yeah. All this emotion.
All this motion.
All this emotion.
All this emotion.
All this emotion connected with chronic fatigue. Processing, releasing the emotion.
All this emotion connected with chronic fatigue.
I want to process and release the emotion, wherever it comes from.
Process and release the emotion, wherever it comes from.
All the way back to its origin.
All the way back to its origin.
Looking at me. I want to release the chronic fatigue. Yep. Keep tapping. Good, good. Keep tapping. Processing and
I want to
releasing.
release the chronic fatigue.
Good. Keep processing. Tapping your head. I want to release the chronic fatigue.
I want to release the chronic fatigue.
All the way back to its origin.
All the way back to its origin.
Wherever it is.
Wherever it is.
Maybe it's there protecting me.
Maybe it's there protecting me.
I wonder what it's protecting me from.
I wonder what it's protecting me from.
Part of me wants to release it.
Part of me wants to release it.
Part of me is too scared to.
Part of me is too scared.
It's there protecting me from something.
It's protecting me from something.
I wonder what it's protecting me from.
I wonder what it's protecting me from.
I want to release the chronic fatigue.
I want to release the chronic fatigue.
But part of me is too scared to.
Part of me is too scared.
My body set it up to protect me.
My body set it up to protect me.
But I want to release it.
But I want to release it.
But I don't know if I'm safe enough.
But I don't know if I'm safe enough.
It's protecting me in some way.
It's protecting me in some way.
I wonder what it's protecting me from.
I wonder what it's protecting me from.
Come back to here. What's coming up for you now? What's going on in your body and your thoughts and your memories around chronic fatigue, 4-year-old, whatever's coming up?
I'm trying to figure out what it would be protecting me from.
Mm-hmm.
And why I can't let go of it, because
What does it stop you from doing? If you didn't have chronic fatigue, what would you be doing that you're not doing now?
I'd be living my life the way that I want to.
Mm-hmm. And if you were living your life the way you would want to, what would be scary about that? What would be the worst case scenario?
Might be able to reach my potential, like it's kind of holds me back from reaching my potential.
Yeah. And if you did reach your potential, what would be the worst thing that would happen?
I think my potential scares me a bit, and I think that I don't know if it sounds weird to say it scares others around me, but every time I want to do what I dream of, I kind of think people around me hold me back due to their own fears.
Yeah. Even though if I reach my potential, people around me might react weird because of their own fears. And that stops me reaching my potential. And maybe my chronic fatigue gives me that excuse. So that people around me don't have to be weird. I don't have to see their own fears when I reach my potential. Or my fears about their fears. If I reach my potential. I want to dissolve that. That belief. That I can't reach my potential. Because of the fears of people around me. I accept myself. And this belief. And I want to dissolve it all the way back to its origin. All the way back to the 4-year-old?
All the way back to the 4-year-old.
Or even before?
Or even before.
Wherever it originated from?
Wherever that originated from.
Wherever I reached my potential?
Wherever I reached my potential.
And people around me were weird?
And people around me were weird.
Because of their fears?
Because of their fears.
All my fears?
All my fears.
Where are you feeling the fear in your body? My fears about their fears.
My fears about their fears. I think it's a fear of losing connection with people, like no longer relating, them not relating to me or me not relating to them, or leaving them behind.
Yep. What if I leave them behind?
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 What's coming up? What if I leave them behind?
I don't want to leave them behind.
I don't want to leave them behind.
I don't want to leave them behind.
I can't reach a potential above them.
I can't reach potential above them.
I don't want to leave them behind.
I don't want to leave them behind.
And chronic fatigue helps me not reach my potential.
Chronic fatigue helps me not reach my potential.
So I can't leave them behind.
So I can't leave them behind.
I want to reach my potential.
I want to reach my potential.
But I don't want to leave them behind.
But I don't want to leave them behind.
And chronic fatigue allows me to do that.
And chronic fatigue allows me to do that.
It gives me the excuse.
It gives me the excuse.
At a body level.
At a body level.
I don't have to make the choice.
I don't have to make the choice.
My body's made it for me.
My body's made it for me.
I want to reach my potential.
I want to reach my potential.
I don't want to reach my potential.
I don't want to reach my potential.
If I reach my potential,
If I reach my potential,
I'll leave people behind.
I'll leave people behind.
Their fears about me reaching my potential.
Their fears about me reaching my potential.
My fears about me reaching my potential.
My fears about me reaching my potential.
My fears about their fears.
My fears about their fears.
Maybe I'm making it all up.
Maybe I'm making it all up.
I wonder where it's come from.
I wonder where that's come from.
I wonder what the message of the 4-year-old in the other room is.
I wonder what the message of the 4-year-old in the other room is.
I wonder why she was brought to my attention.
I wonder why she was brought to my attention.
What's the learning and the lesson from that event?
Well, she didn't speak up and she didn't show her what was true. Like, she just hid herself, really. So she spent then the rest of her life just hiding herself.
I've been hiding.
I've been hiding.
Just like that 4-year-old in the other room.
Just like that 4-year-old in the other room.
I've been hiding.
I've been hiding.
Even though I'm still hiding.
Even though I'm still hiding.
Like the 4-year-old in the other room.
Like the 4-year-old in the other room.
I've been hiding all my life.
I've been hiding all my life.
Maybe in other lives.
Maybe even in other lives.
Maybe I reached a potential.
Maybe I reached a potential.
And it didn't work out well.
And it didn't work out well.
Because I left people behind.
Because I left people behind.
Maybe it's safe now.
Maybe it's safe now.
To reach my potential.
To reach my potential.
I accept myself deeply and completely.
I accept myself deeply and completely.
Maybe I even accept my chronic fatigue.
Maybe I even accept my chronic fatigue.
Maybe I don't need it anymore.
Maybe I don't need it anymore.
Thanking my body.
Thanking my body.
It was rescuing me from reaching my potential.
It was rescuing me from reaching my potential.
If I reached my potential, I'd leave so many people behind.
If I reached my potential, I'd leave so many people behind.
And I didn't want to leave them behind.
I didn't want to leave them behind.
Maybe they can come with me.
Maybe they can come with me.
The ones who want to.
If they want to.
It's their choice.
It's up to them. It's their choice.
Maybe I've got choice.
Maybe I've got choice.
Maybe I don't need chronic fatigue.
Maybe I don't need chronic fatigue.
It might be safe to reach my potential.
It might actually be safe to reach my potential.
Maybe that 4-year-old doesn't have to hide.
Maybe that 4-year-old doesn't have to hide.
Maybe I can speak up.
Maybe I can speak up.
Maybe she can speak up.
Maybe she can speak up.
Maybe my voice is free to speak up now.
Maybe my voice is free to speak up now.
Might be safe.
Might be safe.
I wonder what that would feel like.
I wonder what that would feel like.
It might even be safe to reach my potential.
It might even be safe to reach my potential.
Some people might be left behind.
Some people might be left behind.
Some might come along.
Some might come along.
It's their choice.
It's their choice.
Nothing to do with my fears.
nothing to do with my fears.
It's their choice.
It's their choice.
All my fears about leaving people behind.
All my fears about leaving people behind.
Where do you feel that in your body?
My fingertips feel cold. And I feel just, I don't know if it's tight, it just feels something.
The sensation in my neck.
Oh, it's tight there.
Tightness in my neck.
Tightness in my neck.
On the left side of my neck.
On the left side of my neck.
If I leave people behind.
If I leave people behind.
My fears about leaving people behind.
My fears about leaving people behind.
Processing, releasing it.
Processing and releasing.
I didn't know they had their own choice.
I didn't know they had their own choice.
I thought it depended on whether I was successful or not.
I thought it depended on whether I was successful or not.
Whether I met my potential.
And whether I met my potential.
Maybe it's got nothing to do with them.
Maybe it's got nothing to do with them.
Releasing the sensation in my neck.
Releasing the sensation in my neck.
That tightness.
That tightness.
And the fingertips. Cold fingertips. I want to be successful.
I want to be successful.
I want to reach my potential.
I want to reach my potential.
It's not up to me about what others do.
It's not up to me about what others do.
Releasing my fear that I'll leave people behind.
Releasing my fear that I'll leave people behind.
How does that feel? Has your energy's changed a little?
A lot clearer.
So saying, it's safe for me to reach my potential.
It's safe for me to reach my potential.
There's a nod with that, see? Is that sitting congruent in your body?
It feels a little weak at the moment, but I feel that it's true. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just that you haven't practiced it much.
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. I need
So
to.
practicing it will build that up.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But it feels congruent, it feels achievable.
Yep.
There's no blocks. What about, I might leave people behind? Say that.
I might leave people behind. You just don't want to leave people behind.
So where does that come from? Where have you left people behind before? Where do you feel that in your body?
Well, I had a belief when I was growing up. It wasn't about me leaving people behind. It was about every one of my friends that I made would then leave.
And leave you behind.
Leave me behind. And then when I did make a good friend that was staying in town, we moved. So
Even though
all
my friends that I made
my friends that I made
moved on and left me behind.
moved on and left me behind.
No wonder I don't want to leave people behind.
No wonder I don't want to leave people behind.
I know what it feels like to be left behind.
I know what it feels like to be left behind.
Every one of those friends moving away.
Every one of those friends moving away.
All the trauma I feel in my body.
All the trauma I feel in my body.
They left me behind.
They left me behind.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and all my body's reactions.
and all my body's reactions.
So give me one memory where they left you behind.
Well, it goes back to my friends in primary school. So one of my best friends was probably 5 and 6.
What was her name?
Katie
Katie left me behind.
left me behind.
She was my best friend
She was my best friend.
when I was 5 or 6.
I was 5 or 6.
Katie left me behind.
Katie left me behind.
I can still feel that in my body.
I can still feel that in my body.
Katie left me behind.
Katie left me behind.
What's the actual memory when she left? How do you...
I don't remember her actually leaving. I just remember the feeling of, being left and
That feeling of being
that
left,
feeling
where is
of
it in your
being
body?
left. Yeah,
That feeling of being left.
maybe that feeling of being left.
Katie left me behind.
Katie left me behind.
I can feel it in my solar plexus.
Yeah, I can feel it in my solar plexus.
Katie left me behind.
Katie left me behind.
I can still remember being 5 or 6.
I can still remember being 5 or 6.
My best friend Katie left me behind.
Best friend Katie left me behind. I'm remembering the next friend I had after that leaving now. I have more
Right.
memories around her leaving.
Okay, and what's her name?
Carly.
Then Carly left me
And Carly
behind.
left me behind. And they moved town and
Carly left me behind.
Carly left me behind.
She moved town.
She moved town.
Just like Katie.
Just like Katie did.
And I can feel this pattern.
And I can feel this pattern.
In my body.
In my body.
This belief.
This belief.
That I created.
That I created.
That people leave me behind.
That people leave me behind.
No wonder I don't want to leave other people behind.
No wonder I don't want to leave other people behind.
I know what it feels like.
I know what it feels like.
And I don't want to do that to others.
And I don't want to do that to others.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Deeply and completely.
Deeply and completely.
Katie left me behind.
Katie left me behind.
Carly left me behind.
Carly left me behind.
She moved towns.
She moved towns.
I can feel that in my body.
I can feel that in my body.
That left behind feeling.
That left behind feeling.
I want to dissolve it and let it go.
I want to dissolve it and let it go.
Is it still in your stomach?
Yeah, it feels soft in here.
Mm-hmm. Thanking my body for processing and releasing it.
Thank my body for processing and releasing it.
Life's all about change and moving on.
Life is all about change and moving on.
When I was 8 or 9, was it?
Yeah.
When Carly left.
Yeah,
8, when Carly left.
When Carly left. Yeah.
And Katie left.
And Katie left.
When I was 6.
Yeah.
I've got the remembrance of it in my body.
I've got the remembrance of it in my body.
That left behind feeling.
That left behind feeling.
In my solar plexus.
In my solar plexus.
Thanking my body for processing and releasing it now.
Thanking my body for processing and releasing it now.
I don't need it anymore.
I don't need it anymore.
Dissolving that left behind feeling.
Dissolving that left behind feeling.
No one wants to be left behind.
No one wants to be left behind.
You didn't want to be left behind.
No,
Yeah.
that's one I totally forgot about. Just hadn't even put that together.
So when you say, I don't want to leave people behind, say that now.
I don't want to leave people behind.
How does that feel now?
It feels a lot lighter.
It's like part of life.
Yeah, it's just I've done a lot of kind of stuff on impermanence, so maybe that's one that that's an area that and like you're blind to your own beliefs.
Yeah, but that's why you need to tune into the specific memories of it.
Yeah.
So that not wanting to be left behind was there for a reason, and that was because you'd experienced it.
Yeah.
And so you didn't want to leave other people behind. So chronic fatigue gave you that perfect secondary gain of I don't have to reach my potential and leave people behind if I've got chronic fatigue.
Yeah.
So now there's no reason for you to have chronic fatigue and say, it's perfectly safe for me to reach my potential.
It's perfectly safe for me to reach my potential.
And some people might get left behind.
And some people might get left behind.
And that's their choice.
And that's their choice.
But they'll get over it.
They'll get over it. Yeah.
It's all resonating with you now?
Yeah, that feels a lot more acceptable. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the girl, the 4-year-old in the other room? What was the event there?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken and dealt with a lot of the event, and I don't really want to go into details of it.
Is there anything still resonating in your body when you connect with her?
Yeah, it was kind of like I processed all that, and then I realised after a while that it was the fact that she didn't speak up and that she did hide.
Mm-hmm. Even though there's still that 4-year-old part of me.
Even though there's still that 4-year-old part of me.
Who doesn't want to speak up.
Who doesn't want to speak up.
And still wants to hide.
And still wants to hide.
And didn't want to reach their potential.
And didn't want to reach their potential.
Because it wasn't safe.
Because it wasn't safe.
I want to send her courage.
I want to send her courage.
And process and release.
And process and release.
That fear of speaking up.
That fear of speaking up.
And hiding.
And hiding.
I wanted to let her know she's safe.
I want to let her know that she's safe.
Processing and releasing the 4-year-old's fear of speaking up.
Processing and releasing the 4-year-old's fear of speaking up.
Processing and releasing that 4-year-old's fear of or need to hide.
Yeah, that 4-year-old's need to hide.
It's not safe to be seen.
It's not safe to be seen. It's the didn't trust. Yeah.
She didn't trust.
She didn't trust.
She needed to hide.
She needed to hide, yeah.
She didn't trust.
She didn't trust.
She couldn't speak up.
She couldn't speak up.
She needed to hide.
Yeah.
Processing and releasing.
Processing and releasing.
Everything that's still related to her.
Everything that's still related to her.
That's in my body.
That's in my body.
I want her to feel safe.
I want her to feel safe.
I want her to be able to speak up.
I want her to be able to speak up.
Processing and releasing that event.
Processing and releasing that event.
And all its effects on that girl.
And all its effects on that girl.
Dissolving what's in the way.
Dissolving what's in the way.
For her to be able to speak up.
For her to be able to speak up.
And to be seen.
And to be seen.
And to trust.
And to trust.
Me now.
Me now.
Going into that other room.
Going into that other room.
Speaking to that 4-year-old.
Speaking to that 4-year-old.
Letting her know she can talk to me.
Letting her know that she can talk to me.
She can trust me.
She can trust me.
It's safe for her to speak up.
It's safe for her to speak up.
She's not alone.
She's not.
I'm here to listen to her.
I'm here to listen to her.
She doesn't need to hide.
She doesn't need to hide.
She can trust me.
She can trust me.
She's safe.
She's safe.
She's safe to be visible.
She's safe to be visible.
Speak up.
Speak up.
And reach her potential.
To reach her potential.
She's a good little girl.
She's a good little girl.
Sending her courage
Sending her courage.
and love. What colour is courage and love that you want to send her?
I just green.
So send her some green. So breathe that in. Just up here. Sending that little girl
Sending that little girl
that beautiful green energy.
that beautiful green energy.
Courage
Courage
to speak up.
to speak up.
Be visible.
To be visible.
She's a good little girl
She's a good little girl.
and she can trust.
She can trust.
It's safe to be visible
And safe to be visible
and successful.
and successful.
How's that feeling?
I think she has great potential.
She does, doesn't she?
I hope so.
That's good. The green's all about balance and harmony.
Oh, well, yes. That's much needed. Thank you.
Cool. I don't know where we started there, but went all around the place.
I know.
But it was gentle, wasn't it?
It was very gentle. Yeah, thank you.
Good.
It's amazing.